Thank you for joining us here on We Connect. I have with me here Dr. Ajit Kumar. He's one of the city's best-known tourism experts, and we've been discussing about tourism, what it means, the kind of figures that you're talking about here. Ajit, we were talking about a uniform tax, especially in terms of transportation for the tourism industry.
Absolutely.
Let's go back to that point.
Yep. See, there is no uniform policy for a state in terms of how much for a bus per seat has to be paid. This is hugely a large figure when it comes to Tamil Nadu.
Really?
Yes, and it is much lower in Kerala. So you cannot do a pricing based on a uniform policy of taxation per seat. And this has been taken up repeatedly by most of the transport operators. And I don't think there has been a solution to it yet.
Right. So that makes it more difficult when it comes to the industry itself and for people like yourself, does it not?
Absolutely, because we always have to depend on the transport operator because we obviously cannot have our own fleet of transport coaches. So when we approach them, they say this time the taxes have gone up, so this is the increased figure. So when you're passing an itinerary with a costing to a foreign tour agent, and he says, why is this gone up again so much? So you cannot tell him that these are the policies of per seat
He doesn't want to hear, that's your problem, I guess.
And we cannot tell him also.
And of course, I'm talking here to an economics expert because your PhD is in the economics of tourism.
Absolutely.
So how much attention do you actually have to pay to that, especially in your particular line of business in the tourism industry?
You need to know in terms of if you're looking at a luxury and tourist, you have to know the segment that you want to target for. You want to handle middle income tourists or the higher spending tourists, or you want to handle groups, you want to handle FITs, you want to be in the MICE market, or you don't want to get into inbound tourism at all, you want to get only into outbound tourism, or you want a mix of both so that you have favorable conditions where you have inbound tourism coming during their winter months, which is essentially like October, November, December, Jan to Feb. And you have the summer months for us where we have the outbound tourism happening. So you need to know what is the yield per tourist from Indian tourists, what's your yield per tourist from foreign tourists, and you have to either match it or depend on one segment, or you want to go in for conferences which are year-round. You can have conferences happening within India. You can have corporate conferences which are residential conference, or you can have incentives which go abroad, like dealers incentives which happen right around the year, or you can have large international conferences which we make a bid for. We assist the conference committees to make a bid for getting India, because it happens like can be Asia Pacific region, can be globally. These conferences, like for example you said medical conferences, happen in cycles. So the next bid for India could be 2013.
Right.
So you have to decide which field you need to be.
So there's plenty to really choose from here.
Absolutely.
But Ajit, from your point of view, is it more economical, I mean, for a travel agent to be actually looking at inbound or outbound travel?
See, that's, I guess, your passion.
Really?
Yeah. You need to know whether you have to be in inbound tourism. You have to really focus a lot on each aspect. What is the cuisine they want? What is their interest? Whether they want to see wildlife, they want to go to beaches, they want to see the temple, they want to see Ayurveda, or they want to just do the golden triangle of Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. You have to know a lot about your country. Whereas when you send tourists abroad, the operator in those countries takes care of that.
Right,
So
but having said that, from my experience in Southeast Asia, I used to see a lot of very disgruntled Indian tourists who were there, who were most unhappy because of the arrangements that were sometimes made for them. And they would always say that, oh, in India we were promised this, and over here we're not getting our vegetarian food, we're not getting the transport on time, the hotel is lousy, etc., etc. What would you say to this kind of a comment?
I would say that you need to know your operator better before you plan your trip. And when you start pushing the operator down on pricing, say that the next operator has given me 100 rupees less, then be prepared for that. When you're asking for pricing to be low, obviously you will get services which may not be to your expectation. You may have the basic accommodation, you may have the sightseeing, you may have a panoramic tour where they'll say, oh, this is the site, that's the site, you need not even get down.
This is the temple, this is the mosque,
they don't
this
even
is the
allow you
king's
to get
palace,
down.
and you don't even get off the bus.
Absolutely. or they will tell you the food is included and they'll give you all vegetarian food. If you're lucky to be a vegetarian, it's good for you. And they may take you to restaurants which are outside the hotel where you're staying. They may not give you restaurants inside the hotel. They may give you a 3-star hotel, but give you restaurants which are outside. A lot of factors come in the pricing. And now what I find is a lot of Indian tourists who travel abroad are net savvy, and they start making their own arrangements on the net. But when you see a glossy website
that's
with
also
all sorts of pictures,
right.
beautiful pictures of rooms and the landscaping and the facade of the hotel looks very good on the net. But when you go there...
So Dr. Ajit Kumar, tell me, how can I not get cheated then?
That's what. So use the services of a good tour operator, get testimonials from him as to check out with him who are the other people you've catered to. And he can give you references, check with them. If they've had a good experience, you will have a good experience.
Right. I see sometimes in the ads these days, a lot of cruise travel that's being advertised for Indians. Now, take me through this. Is this something new? Can we see more of this happening in the future?
Absolutely. Cruise travel worldwide is a very blossoming industry. But for India, cruise traveling or cruise tourism is happening in the last 5 years or so. And we've had a couple of cruise ships stationed in Bombay. We had Superstar Libra in Bombay for some time, about 2 years back, but that didn't sort of probably make profitability for them, so they had to withdraw operations. Then we had Louis Cruises, which had taken operation berthed in Cochin. They also lasted for about precisely 2 months or even less. And now we have Amet Cruises, which is having operations in Chennai, based out of Chennai. The cruise ships which are operating from Singapore and all are well run, well organized. About the cruise industry, which is now taking shape in India, we need to be a little more careful whether this is going to be staying there in the long run, because there are a lot of factors in it. Port stability, the support from the port operations.
Ajit, one final question to you. Do you see the future rosy and healthy for your industry?
Absolutely. When we're having a 9.3% growth rate, which is absolutely good. Globally, I think India is doing well.
So you expect it to get bigger and bigger. Dr. Ajit Kumar, thank you very much
indeed.
Thank you
so much, Jennifer.
I really appreciate your time today. And to you, my viewers out there, I'd like to thank you very much for watching us on We Connect. Don't forget to tune in every single Saturday night at 9:30. This is the show on which you will meet people who are fascinating, who are interesting, who always have a story to tell us. And so until the next week, you take care. Bye for now.